Hey everyone, what's up? It's Sarah and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be talking some Seeking Sister Wives. We're going to be talking about the Joneses, which I've briefly talked about on my channel before, but the two big hitters this season on Seeking Sister Wife has been the Snowdens and the Merrifields, but we have some tea on the Joneses that we're going to talk about today. So let's just jump right into the video. First and foremost, before we start, I just have to say that I know COVID did nobody any favors when it came to trying to shoot reality television, and we just kind of had to do the best with what we had, right? I'm saying we like I'm involved in production or something, but whatever. We have to take and be grateful with what we get, a la season 6 of 90 Day Fiance Happily Ever After, right? Like, let's just be glad they were able to pump out a season at this point. Beggars can't be choosers. But anyways, so early on when I did the preview of season 3 of Seeking Sister Wife, I was talking about how fascinated I was by the Joneses because Tosha was actually brought in as a second wife, and it was the first wife who left. It wasn't working for her anymore. And I actually thought, and I had mentioned several times when I had my husband come on the channel, that I thought if any polygamous relationship was gonna work, it would be a relationship like the Joneses where, Tosha was so, she's putting off planning a family or planning if she's going to have kids based around finding a sister wife. So I thought if anyone could make polygamy work, it would be the Joneses. But as we are coming to find out, looks can really be deceiving. Let's start off by talking about what has come to light on social media. There's also, I'll link it below in the show notes. There's an article by TV show Ace. Both Tosha and Sidian'S first wife have criminal histories. Now, neither one of them went to jail for murder or anything super heinous. And of course, on this channel, on my Instagram and YouTube and Twitter, I cover Love After Lockup, where everybody has a criminal history. So is that really salacious? No. What I did find interesting though, and what has come to light further, is there was a YouTube channel, and I will link her video as well in the show notes. The channel is Tracy, oh my gosh, this is a tongue twister for me, Tracy Trendy Show. And the title was Tosha Arrested, Seeking Sister Wife, Hot Tea. Like I said, I'll link it in the description. What's fascinating about this video is that the first wife of Sidian, the one that is not talked about on the show, actually came into the comment section and gave her side of the story. So I'm going to put that up here and we're just going to go through it. She touches on the arrest as well as what happened and why she is no longer with Sidian. Okay, so this, I'm going to put up here the screenshots of the comments of what the first wife had to say. She said, I found out about her warrant several months after the fact, after a stranger she had assaulted outside of a bar contacted me looking for her as she had quickly fled the scene after doing so. The girl she assaulted had a history with Tosha as well, as years prior Tosha had stolen her credit card and many of her personal items, but a police report was never filed. The altercation was due to Tosha body shaming the girl she had stolen from years prior, and after the friend of this girl stepped in to say women shouldn't tear each other tear other women down, Tosha backhanded her in the face and left. After being thrown in jail 2 more times on ridiculous probation violations that were the product of my ex and Tosha calling my misdemeanor probation officer and telling him I had been drinking alcohol on probation, sending him screenshots of stolen Facebook messages of mine, they had hacked into get where I mentioned taking Norco that was prescribed for a traumatic abortion I had, and so much more. I was more than happy to confirm Tosha's address being what once was my home to see her arrested for once. She goes on to say, my charge was the result of a mental breakdown I experienced a couple months after Sidian randomly moved in Tosha, whom I had only met once prior. To clarify, I was in no way interested in polygamy or even polyamory the 10 years Sidian and I were together. Sidian was very early on demanded a more or less one-sided open relationship once I had my eldest child at the start of the relationship. As the years went on, I was able to disengage and for the most part ignore his constant need to sleep around. That was until he moved in the girl he was working with at the time, who had been blowing him in the workplace bathroom. At first, desperate for attentive and focused on someone else made it so I couldn't ignore the disparity and coldness he treated me with, and I suddenly found I could no longer sleep. In an effort to sleep, I turned to NyQuil, which turned to Ativan, which was what I was on when I decided to shoplift clothing from a department store. After I was arrested, I called Sidian, who immediately let me know how disposable I was. I was absolutely blown away when I found out he had placed my bail and he had indicated he was not. I don't know what that means. A short time later, Tosha informed us she was moving out, skipping out on 3 months of rent, of course, and my ex blamed me entirely. She reappeared once I had left to see a friend out of state and was there every single time after that. I attempted to figure out how to mend my very broken relationship by that point, defending Sid. She was pregnant at that point, a surprise to me as Sidian had promised he was using protection to protect me, a lie. After years of berating me about how I ruined his life by making him a father, I was there when he found out he had gotten Tosha pregnant. He jumped for joy. It was like a dagger to the heart and a slap in the face all at once. Then she goes on to say, why am I coming forward now? I just found out he had moved my children 7 hours away. I am devastated. The story is long and horrible, but I'm not going to lie down and let both of them villainize me and rewrite the truth to glorify their evil behavior anymore. It's a very long story, but I won't be silenced anymore. Tosha jumped in and she said, this is false information. It's also not helpful to your custody case. Please consider the group therapy that's been offered or go to mediation that was court ordered. So a couple things to note. You know, I often subscribe to the notion that there's 3 sides to every story. There's A's side, B's side, and somewhere in the middle is the truth, right? That's typically what so I take everything each side says with a huge grain of salt. What I will say is just from watching the show, it was clear that the kids, that was at least their primary residence. Those 2 children seemed to live there all the time. So we know now he has, and confirmed by Tosha, he has full custody of both those children. So I'm not sure what the issues were regarding the first wife that the kids were taken away. But hopefully she can regain some sort of visitation if she is a present, willing, and safe parent to be around, of course. The other thing that's interesting to note is I kind of do tend to believe this notion that the first wife is putting out, that it was kind of something that she had no choice but to go along with, or felt she had no choice but to go along with. Not really sure what the relationship dynamic was. What she describes clearly is not healthy. But remember, Sidian has a 3rd child, and that child is in between ages with his oldest and his youngest, who are by his first wife. So Tosha was not the only woman that he was doing this with, and I just find a lot of validity in the first wife's statements just based off of what we know. Now, she left because she couldn't handle it anymore. That's understandable. But whether or not what she's saying regarding how they treated her is true, obviously that's something that the courts can work out. But it does paint Tosha and Sidian in a different light. To me, they were always a couple that, you know, just as long as it's all consenting adults, like it's all good, right? Well, I'm actually wondering, because part of me and several podcasts I listened to that have covered Seeking Sister Wife has said how the Clarks and the Joneses really got the short end of the stick when it came to COVID, because they couldn't really do anything. You know, we saw with the Clarks the disintegration of their relationship with Kayla, and then they couldn't really date. It wasn't, you know, anything that they could really do. And we saw that with the Joneses as well. But I kind of feel like, I wonder if that actually played out in their favor. So we just saw total surface level dating from the Joneses and nothing else, nothing developed. We didn't get to see any interactions, like living together with anyone. It was just Tosha and Sidian and the kids. And apparently, rumor is online that Alexandra was allegedly the roommate of someone that Tosha and Sidian knew. So, like, who knows how authentic that date or couple of dates actually was. I absolutely found Alexandra hilarious and refreshing on the show, because she was totally upfront and honest, and it seemed like she was like, yeah, being on TVs might seem kind of cool. Why not? You know, a free lunch or something. I just found her to be really hilarious. I wonder if we're going to be hearing more from Sidian's ex. I wonder if the mother of his middle child will speak out. I'm not sure. Tosha and Sidian both have been very vocal online as far as defending their relationship. So I'm sure that we'll probably be hearing a rebuttal. We saw Tosha respond directly to Sidian's ex. So, I mean, hopefully for the children's sake, they can sort out some sort of custody arrangement in through the court system and through mediation. But you guys, let me know what you think. Make sure you leave a comment, like this video, subscribe to my channel, follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Reality Squad, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Take care. Have a good one. Bye-bye.